Right now in this day and age, ignorance is a choice. Yes or no? This day and age, with access to all the information, ignorance is a choice. And I remember having a conversation with my mom my freshman year. We're having breakfast. I'm over in Pullman, and I'm like, Mom, I don't get excited anymore. Because was I present? No, I was worrying about, I'd hold on to all my mistakes, and my whole mission was to not screw up. Don't drop the pass, don't mess up, don't say something stupid in front of your friends. And I carried this whole mindset, even through business and sales. I had ups and downs. But I remember about 6 years ago, a mentor changed my life. So up to that point, this was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I had a role. Have you ever had a job you hated? Or you ever had a coworker that was just super negative, would nitpick everything you did? So I was in that negative space. I wasn't sleeping. My blood pressure was in the high 140s. Gratitude, I know what gratitude meant. I was all focused on myself, but a mentor gave me a book called Positive Intelligence by Shirzad Sharmin. And the lesson I learned was, man, I'm watching a lot of Netflix. I'm watching a lot of sports on TV. I'm not investing in my development. So your level of success rarely is higher than your level of investing in your personal development. So I read a book, and it taught me, this first thing I'll teach you is that we have two voices in our mind. There are two yous. You have two voices in your head. So this is this first one right here. This is the first lesson. There are two yous. So the book that I read was called Positive Intelligence by Shirzad Sharmin. What it taught me is that we all have this inner judge in our head that's critiquing our every single move. So there are two yous. You guys have maybe seen cartoons, remember when you were kids? You have these two voices, a devil and an angel, like competing. But if you look at brain science, the research shows that 80% of human thought is negative. I'll say that again. Wow. How we're wired as human beings, for our survival, for our protection, 80% of human thought is negative. As in, this internal Judge Judy is always working to protect your safety. But last I checked, let me think. I haven't seen a saber-toothed tiger in my neighborhood in the last week. Have you guys? So we're not being chased by lions and tigers anymore. It's now, how do I look? What do people think? I don't want to be embarrassed. Don't say something dumb. What's my random aunt going to say about that post I just did? Have you ever felt that way before? So we have this inner critic that's really sabotaging our performance. And we have what I call, see those ants? They're ants. They're called automatic negative thoughts. And 95% of our thoughts are reoccurring. So for our protection and survival, we have this DVR of our mistakes. And our self-image, therefore, is created by these mistakes. So we're trying to avoid that shame, that embarrassment. So what's keeping us in performance jail is what I call bad cops. Who has kids again? Who has kids? You guys seen Minions? You know how the Minions serve the most evil villain in the world? Right? These bad cops, these internal voices are serving your inner critic. Do you want to learn which these voices are? Okay. So the first voice you got to be aware of, especially on selling, owning your own business, is comparing yourself to other people. And if you've been at this for less than 6 months, raise your hand. Okay, well, you're beginning to someone's middle or 2 months in, you're judging. Now with Instagram, Facebook, it's just a breeding ground to compare. Is that robbing you from being present? Being authentic, yes, but that's how your brain is wired. Now the O is obsessing of the opinions of other people. Again, getting your self-worth because you need approval from other people. You guys have heard of YOLO? You only live once? FOMO? What does that stand for? Which we're trying to create FOMO with our business, right? FOMO, fear of missing out. And with our brand, we want to create FOMO. Like if you don't have these amazing products, healthier, natural, like younger, it's great for the environment. I mean, you want to create FOMO. All these people are doing, create what's called social proof. But unfortunately, we get this. There's a new one I want to teach you. FOPO. And this is robbing us from greatness. It's fear of other people's opinions. We're not showing up. We're not taking that risk. We're not going for it because we're thinking, oh, if I did that, I might make a mistake. I might say something weird, or they might think that's, not cool, or what's that person going to say? So we don't go big. We don't play big. We play small. We don't make it happen because we're afraid of what other people are thinking. Now, this P, what I really have had to focus on is live perfection. Giving yourself no margin for error. No margin for error. So let's say someone in this room that you care about just did a Facebook Live class for the first time. And they kind of forgot their bullet points. They kind of got nervous. They didn't execute very well. Would you go up to that person after or call them up or see him, at Starbucks and say, man, you suck. Why'd you do that? No one's gonna buy from you. Like, would you ever do that to your friend? No way. So why would you do that to yourself? See what I'm saying? Why would you treat yourself that way? So having the same empathy and grace for yourself as you do other people. Because the most important conversation you have is with yourself. Again, the words you speak to me, you're speaking to me. Like Collin, this shirt from Lululemon, this grapefruit thing, that's not very cool. But that has 1/10 of the power of how I speak to myself. You have 1/10. So your voice is the most powerful voice. I'll say it again. What you say to yourself has 10 times the power than anyone else can say to you. So it's recognizing when this inner critic, this 80% pops up, one of the most important mental skills is self-awareness. That's not me. That's my old lizard brain talking. There's a barrier to entry to greatness. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. And I'm gonna give you guys a bonus P. You guys want a bonus P? Yeah. You want a bonus? I like bonus. Hey, you sign up, you get an extra whatever. What do you get? What other bonuses you guys got? Extra. Yeah. I'm gonna give you guys a bonus P. Okay. And I see this in sports and in sales. You focus on only results and outcomes. Like, I have to get to this level, then I can be happy. Or I have to have this many views, and then it'll be a success.
Kingdom was a big prize that everybody was going for.
Yeah, and it's like, well, if I don't get that, then I'm a failure. This is gonna rob you from killing it. This is gonna rob you from joy, from growth, from really bringing out the best inside of you. These negative internal voices, comparing, opinions, live perfection, and thinking I need outcomes or results to be happy or to have success. So my loudest critic is the live perfection. So star which one is loudest for you and turn to a neighbor and let's get vulnerable today. This is about self-scouting. I want you guys to come out of here, more self-awareness, you can dominate. Which is the loudest voice for you? Just turn to a neighbor and just talk about it. Who wants to share theirs really quick? Like rapid fire, if you want to share it, it's quick. Just say it. Opinions. Perfection. Opinions. Comparing. I'm guilty of all these, by the way, but perfection. Opinions, yeah. Yep.
I'm like a combo of perfection.
Just a cocktail of all kinds of self-sabotaging. And I teach a lot of people this too. You're hitting the nail on the head. We're so narcissistic or naive to think that people care about what we're doing. They're worried about how did I look? So I work with a lot of athletes. So I'll tell, so that pitcher on the mound, right? He's thinking everyone's looking at me. The hitter is everyone's watching how I'm hit. The umpires, everyone's watching how I'm calling balls and strikes. The manager's thinking everyone's watching how I'm calling this game. The scouts, I have to get the right. So everyone's obsessing over themselves, not what you're doing. They might look at your thing and you're like, oh man, my hair was jacked up, or I said that 2 words wrong, and people didn't even notice it. So I think rule number 1 is people aren't obsessing over you, they're obsessing over themselves. Because we don't have time to worry about all the stuff that can go wrong or what people are thinking. It's just do you. Use what you have. That was for this. All your experience up to this point, use everything in your toolkit to be authentic, to be real, to bring value. I think the biggest mistake as salespeople, we make it about us instead of about them. Like, how can I bring value on this post? What's a cool question I can say? How can I tell a really vulnerable story to connect with someone? Do you see the difference? A lot of times when we're depressed and anxious, the focus is on us. Being in what's called a flow state, like in the zone and rhythm, creative, is an exit of self. It's about the other person. It's about the team. It's about how can I leave a legacy that's bigger than me. Your life will never change until Plato said the first and greatest victory is over self. No one else. Especially in this business, because you run your own business. Okay. Now, instead of feeding our inner critic with these automatic negative thoughts and self-loathing and shameful and negative self-talk comparing, who wants to feed this creative you, this authentic you, how you're designed, unique, special, amazing, and different? I love that. So there's two yous. There's your critic voice, and then there's your creative voice. And I love, dude, business, hair, this is art. I love art. I love creation. I love poetry. I love writing. I've authored 4 books, 2 journals, blog posting. I love creating. I mean, I just love creation. Fear of failure is the number one killer of creativity. Do you know that? I'll say that again. Fear of failure is the number one killer of creativity. Because are you present? You're not. You're worried about what all the bad stuff could happen. What are people going to say? What if I screw up? You can't create. You can't solve problems. So instead of comparing, what if we did this? Care. Now, I have a 3-pronged approach to this, all right? So if you were to do a hierarchy of what's most important in your life, 1 through 4, what would you write down? 1 through 4. Like, what's like priorities? What's most important in my life? What would you rate? How would you rate those? So, if we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we take care of other people? Prioritizing our mental, emotional health. Prioritizing, our internal conversations. See what I'm saying? Now, I love service. Now, we don't sell, we serve, correct? What if we love others and sincerely say, hey, I'm in this business, I'm going to do this flat lay, I'm going to write this post, I'm going to have this meet and greet, I'm going to meet this person for coffee, talk about Monet and all the cool stuff we're doing as a business venture and as like a cool product venture, because I love you. And I want you to jump on this train because I care about you. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? Again, exit of self, of love and service, of giving. When you serve, everybody go like this, point your finger like this. Everybody point like this, point like this. You heard of the saying, every time you make an excuse, you got 3 pointing back at you? Yeah. What if we flip the script and say, what if we serve other people and give without expecting anything back? How many you got pointing back at you? 3. You'll be blessed 3 times over if your intent is of love and of service. But watch what happens, this power of 3 of service. When I serve you, you probably felt good, huh? But I felt good too. When we serve, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin. Those are happy chemicals. And then you saw it, so you feel good too. And you're influenced to give and help and serve and like go for it. You see the power of 3? Of service? We're in the service business, are we not? But I think all of us get caught up on ourselves. How do I look? How did that sound? That's what's adding the expectation and that stress. Give yourself grace like you would your best friend, and love and serve other people with the intent to really help, it's like, what can I give instead of what can I get? It's what can I give, not what can I get. And then the third one for care, especially in this business, is to love your craft. Love this business, love this product, love what this company stands for. So if I have self-love and self-empathy, if I sincerely love other people, and if I love what I do, I don't have the mental energy to live over here. And remember, attitudes are contagious, right? Get people to jump on that train. Because talking about sales, especially MLM, number 1 is to love the product and use it. Number 2 is because, hey, I love shopping at Target. You talk about how cool Target is, or I love Nordstrom. So then you naturally, step 2 is you talk about how much you love and how much you use the product. If you don't use it, how can you talk about it? And then step 3 is to get people motivated to change their behavior because of step 1 and 2. So if we love ourselves, love others, and love the product, like, wow, that's how we influence people. Because when we have these 3, we have one of the most powerful emotions in life and leadership, conviction. You have conviction, you have clarity. When you have conviction and clarity, you can influence people. Care. So the O, as we're moving along here, instead of opinions, take personal ownership. I think a big roadblock for people looking for performance is they're blaming a lot of stuff. Blaming the marketplace, blaming X, Y, Z, making excuses, blame, complain, shame. Instead of taking personal ownership, hey, this business is on me. If I show up every single day for an hour a day or however, do X amount of posts or meetings, if you take personal ownership, that's when your business is going to take off. Instead of perfection, let's focus on progress. Progress is the game. And how do we get progress? Is by getting our reps in. I have this thing called a bias for action. I take massive action. I'm not worried about failure because failure is feedback. So I want you guys to write down the word yet. Have you guys heard of Dr. Carol Dweck out of Stanford? She has a philosophy called a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Where a fixed mindset is, oh, I am what I am. I'm not very good. I'm good at cutting hair, but I'm not good at selling stuff. Which I say, I don't believe you. That's your negative voice talking. The human brain can learn and grow and be anything it wants to be. Horses, they're born out the womb, they can walk right away. It takes kids over a year to learn how to walk. So if you tell yourself, hey, I haven't mastered that skill of doing lives, I haven't mastered it yet. I haven't mastered my pitch on selling export products yet. I haven't got my downline set up, my builders yet. Do you see the difference? This is what gives you perspective, perseverance. I say don't find yourself, build yourself, create yourself. Audiobooks, podcasts, mentors. Right now in this day and age, ignorance is a choice. Yes or no? This day and age, with access to all the information, ignorance is a choice. So if you can say, I'm going to take ownership of my actions, and I can learn and grow anything I want if I put my mind to it. And the last one, I love this one, especially in sales. Focus on the process, not the prize. Have you identified your key performing habits? Me and my wife call them IPAs, income producing activities. So am I busy or am I being productive? I think in this business we get busy doing stuff that doesn't matter because we think we're busy because we're too afraid to actually take the real action where we're going to actually maybe influence or get better. So if we can focus on our daily habits, and I like to say, focus on the root, not the fruit. So many people in sales get seduced by the fruit. I need X amount of income, X amount of orders, blah, 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 which is good to have a vision. But if you don't water the root, tend your land, take care of it, you're not going to bear good fruit. So how's my attitude? How's my plan? Have I written down, hey, I'm going to do these 5 things this week or this month? And just focus on those daily behaviors. Your limits begin where your vision ends. You are your only limit. So if you don't think you'll have success in this business, you won't. If you don't see abundance in crushing it, or a healthy body, or healthy relationships, or bringing value and bring out the best in you, will never do it. The most powerful force is how you see yourself. So how do you see yourself? Do you focus on all your flaws and what you don't have? Or are you using what you have to bring value and to kill it and to crush it and to make it count?